If you need me to drop that link again, just let me know. Let me know in the chat, and I will drop it again. I don't want to waste my energy putting a link out because y'all asked for this open panel. Okay, there goes somebody. There goes somebody. Oh, this is somebody you want to talk to too. Oh, and he doing something fly. Wait a minute. I forgot what. I'm not gonna tell them who it is. I'm just gonna start talking to you because that's how we do. I forgot what kind. If y'all know this person, I want you to tell me in the chat by the conversation. Because some of us, we share our lives with you, not just our opinions. And so I want to see who really, really followed the folks, okay? Because we got a lot of folks that just follow for the mess and follow for the drama. But here's somebody who stayed out of the mess, unlike myself. Stayed out, no, come back. Come back. Stayed out of the drama, but showed us a lot of his life, his real life, what he really got going on. Come back. And I want to have a little conversation before the person joins so I can see if you guys know, okay, thank you for coming back. This ain't no trick. I'm not playing no tricks, I promise. This person right now is standing in front of a project. And what this person told somebody when the project was presented to them was, hold my beer. I love it. I know you. I see you smiling. I was waiting to see you smile. Because I think it's important as you guys get to see what you got to know is what goes into what we give you. And when I bring this person up, I want you to know, ooh, and I never would have brought you up that small. I'm so sorry. Hold on, let me make that right. Thank you. This is, I want to call you Carlton Pearson, and that's obviously not your name.
Oh, gosh.
Look, y'all, look at the vehicle behind him. Before we get into the business, I saw you start talking about this vehicle on the members only video. And I love that you do your heart stuff in the members only video. Because if you really a member, then you really care about me going to the zoo too.
Right.
Tell us about that real quick before we get into the business. And nice to meet you.
Okay, I think I'm hearing like two audios going at the same time, but let me explain what's going on here.
Turn your device down.
Okay, let me turn this all the way down, and maybe I'll take my headphones off and then show off this.
I'm the technical director.
Okay, so
and I'm the fluff.
Turning off the headphones and
just talk.
Turning down the volume so I can't hear anything but me talking. So this car was smashed. Both of the doors, the rocker panel, it was hit really hard. And the lowest quote to fix this car was $7,700. And so people said, you can't fix those doors, it's too damaged. And I said, hold my beer. I don't even drink beer. So I took on the project and offered to do it for my friend for half the price, for $3,240. And instead of putting on new doors, I monkeyed around with this thing and fixed the metal, pulling out the metal, reshaped everything. In fact, when you look in this door jamb here, this was smushed in, like flattened. It was like a W. All of this was smashed in. This was pushed way into here. I had to pull all that mangled metal out, and I reshaped it. And even like, see this design down here? I made all of this. This was all gone. It was just smashed flat. And I was able to, do a little Edward Scissorhands and remake it. And so even down here, the rocker panel was all smashed in. This door was smashed in. And I redid all that metal, and it took me 2 months to get this thing done, and blood, sweat, and tears. And then last week, I had to double down because they wanted to take it on vacation. And so from Wednesday to Friday, I had 5 hours of sleep. I worked from Wednesday at 8 a.m. till the next night. I went through Wednesday night all the way till Thursday and into Friday on 5 hours of sleep and got it done. So it was a deal. So that's my show and tell. This is my shop.
Thank you for sharing that with us. I'm a huge fan of your work, all of it. And shout out to your daughter and much success to her.
I know. Gosh, my daughter, it's amazing. I'm going to be working with her boss, who's 84 years old. It sounds like he wants to pass the firm down to her after he's dead and gone. So I'm actually working with them on some projects. So it's exciting. It's a blessing.
For real, Carlton, that was one of my shower thoughts. I was like, The only reason why he would ever have a conversation with Carlton about politics is because he wants to see the mindset she comes from. I'm a hiring manager. I know how people think. I understand psychometrics and how tests are made. So I understand when he had that conversation with you, that was an interview for her. So Godspeed.
Wow. That's interesting. And I had to be kind of careful.
I need to know my subordinates' parents. I don't give a about them unless I'm trying to find out what this is.
Huh. Interesting.
I'm just letting you know.
That's some good insight. Moment. Yeah.
Because I want to tell you something before we get into the business. Think about the fact that you guys don't agree politically, but you had a civil conversation. Yeah.
And that's the big thing. It's like, can we find common ground and not just go on the attack because we're on opposite ends of the political spectrum. So, when you set a goal to find that common ground and work together, you can really be blessed. So that's kind of good that you got to know when to come out rolling with your politics and when to shut up and just try to see what you can learn.
And at the end of the day, really, guess how much we find out 10 years later? So
a lot.
So we can't really get so caught up in this stuff that's propaganda for the most part. We have our own beliefs, we have our own convictions. But one thing I used to tell my seminary professors when they wouldn't agree with me about something and they tell me to go do my research, I'd be like, I'm not an undergrad, I'm a graduate student. I'm working on a master's and you're telling me to go do my research. Do you think I would have had this conversation with you if I hadn't? I'm working on my thesis. You're on the panel. I'm defending my thesis to you. You know who you talking to. I just don't agree.
Right.
So we'll have some of those good conversations too.
Absolutely.
So what did you come up with on your heart or mind?
On the what?
What did you come up to the panel with? Was there anything particular you wanted to share or talk about?
Oh, not really. Just to show off the car. And I didn't quite get your message, but not saying any names. This is kind of interesting. I'm probably going to send you and Shay a private video to share an experience with you that I had. And then also just to tell you that my dad, who was a real activist, not a fake activist, but my dad was a real activist. And he helped actually over 275 people in inner city Chicago who came mostly from broken homes and low income homes, the ghetto, to get college scholarships to attend Lincoln University in Jefferson City, Missouri. And some of them went on to have lifetime careers in music and became very, very successful. He was amazing. He also did prison ministry. And back in the old days, he saw a lot of his kids, a lot of his students that died over in Vietnam because they drafted all of the black men out of the inner cities, and 51% of the front lines and the infantry were black people over in Vietnam. And so my dad worked his way almost to a doctorate. He didn't finish his doctorate, but he was a master musician. He was a minister, and he was not a BS artist. And he also had the uncanny ability to know when people weren't telling the truth. And I remember him having many conversations with students, with ex-convicts, with many people where he'd be looking at them like this. And he'd say, you can't BS me. And they say, how did you know I was lying? And I used to be amazed at how my dad would always be able to see through people and read people. And I thought, how does he have this superpower? Once I got a little older, I started to realize that I have some of those same abilities, and it's all purely scientific. One thing that I have that's strange about me is a photographic auditory memory. Like if you say something, I can replay that in my mind, or I can replay you singing and hear it exactly as it is. And in fact, my son has perfect pitch. He's inherited this too. But when I'm talking to a person, I know your steady state. And what that means is I know what your normal breathing rate is when you're calm and relaxed and telling the truth. I know what your eyes are doing, your rate of blinking. I know if your voice is open and you're speaking naturally or if it's constricted. I know what your resting heart rate is. And these are all things that I just naturally pick up on. Okay. So when you start to hide or deceive, it sticks out like a sore thumb to me. And many times I hated having this ability because when a close friend is lying to you, I can tell right away. from the first time that I saw a certain individual who was supposed to be, what do you call it? Advocate. I did not believe, and this was before any of this drama started, anything. I can tell right away. Any individuals that I carry on long conversations with, which I'll kind of tell you a little bit more about some other things later on, it's uncanny. It's amazing that the longer you talk to me, the more I'm going to know what your steady state is and know when you're not comfortable. So anyway, it's kind of something that I inherited from my dad. God rest his soul. He passed away a couple of years ago at 83 years old. And I'm carrying on his mission. So
that's a blessing. And I'm glad that you shared all of that, because I actually didn't know what this show was going to be about tonight. I just knew these were the most recent episodes. And as I sat here and watched, I realized that there was a story being told about the sins of the father.
That was amazing. That video, I didn't get to see this one, since working on this car the last week, but that was amazing. And I could kind of tell from your voice that you really have a heart for wanting this person to do better and feeling for what he's gone through that has made him the way that he is.
No, let me speak for myself. I don't give a fuck about him. No, I don't connect with people like that. People make their own decisions about their life. I'll give you a little free advice.
Yeah.
But I don't connect with people in such a way where I actually care. I decided a long time ago that we were going to eliminate him. We're closers.
Right.
We don't get called in to talk about stuff, Carlton. That's not what we do with the breakdown crew.
Well, what you spoke was straight truth. And I guess it's up to the person to take that and to use it to their benefit or to reject it.
Yeah. And for the most part, I know when a person has decided they're not going to change and they're into who they are. If you see enough of a
too late.
Record, I mean, find a scam with my name on it. Find a scam with your name.
Right. On it. Yeah. Find something. Yeah, exactly. It ain't
find
there.
A scandal. The last scandal I had, I was like, yeah, we fucked. And you don't? O'Shea, what was it? Not O'Shea. What's the other dude that be with us over there at the Shark Tank? The ugly dude. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Barely. What's his name? Anyway, he tried to make a big deal out of me and Umar Johnson having a sexual relationship. Like, people don't fuck. We was in Shanghai in a luxury hotel for 7 days. What would you do? You gonna make a scandal out of people having sex? But that's about as bad as it gets for me.
Right.
Yeah. I'm sorry to shocking all you, Carlton. Welcome.
I'm not too shockable. I'm 56 years old. It takes a lot to shock me.
But I'm just saying, like, I want to speak for myself and say, I'm able, just like you, I've got a keen sense about people, and I've been operating in it since I was a child. And so I've learned when I don't like you, when I meet you, it's not my fault. And my dad put that in me. My dad was like, I'm from Chicago, Cabrini Green. If I don't like you when I meet you, it's because I don't like you. And I don't have to explain it. I don't have to make it make sense to you. Just like me and you connected. We talking like we always talking. This is the first time.
Right. Yeah, true. That's so true.
We don't even email. We've emailed like 3 times through this whole thing.
Yeah.
So like there's a connection that some people just have. And if you don't,
it's a natural thing. It's a natural thing. One thing I will say, when you are dealing with a narcissist, Dr. Phil said it himself, fixing a narcissist is above his pay grade, and he's a clinical psychologist. You can't change these people.
I'm gonna speak for myself. We have to make decisions for ourselves to take responsibility for the way people feel when they're around us. And we have to survey our community. We have to really look at, because people aren't always going to tell you make them feel a type of way, but what they will do is behave a certain way.
Right.
And one thing narcissists, especially most covert narcissists, I would have been a covert narcissist had I not said, I don't want to make people feel that way. Is this what I've been doing to people? Because my mom and my dad made it so normal, and when I separated from them and people didn't put up with my shit. That's what it takes. A group of people who love you enough to be like, I love you, but I can't stand you. And I've had people in my life who stood up to me and was like, And they weren't trying to fight me. They literally were like, look, I love you, but I can't stand you. And I'm not going to stop hanging out with you. But please believe you drain the fuck out of me because don't nothing I do be right enough for you. And I feel like you criticizing me all the time. And you know what I'm saying? So that's why I say this is not a no judgment zone. But I can't be DELACREMEDELA everywhere.
No doubt.
So anyway, I want to give you the last word if you have one.
The last word is, I like that positive talk you were giving about how to manifest things and how to believe in what you want to come to pass. And I can say that if it is to be, it's up to me. And whatever the mind can conceive, the mind can achieve.
That's Neville, not Neville. That's give me your name because we talk every day. Don't do me like that. He don't want me to say his name. Funny little guy with the glasses.
Yeah.
He won't let me say his name. No. Okay. I get it. Okay. But yeah, absolutely. And I got one more thing for you because you're here. Okay. You shook the world. See, I came with a lot of psychological conversation, but not the words, not the academic information behind it. And you shook this whole conversation. First of all, when you start talking about Darvo, okay, which I thought was just a disease dogs get. That's parvo. Because the man who knows something knows that he knows nothing at all. Okay.
Oh,
Somebody wants you to give a little bit, if you got it, on flying monkeys. Because we haven't talked about that yet.
I'm going to get back to that. Yes, the flying monkeys. It's on my list to do. I'm going to dig into that. Thank you for the reminder.
Snippet in what you would say.
Say that again.
Can you give us a quick something of what you may say? They'd like to hear from you about it. Now you don't have to do a whole talk, but kind of just give us an idea. If the person heard the term flying monkeys, what should come to mind?
What should come to mind is exactly from the Wizard of Oz. You had the Wicked Witch and had the flying monkeys. And after the Wicked Witch got the water poured on her and she died, all of the flying monkeys turned very normal and nice. But when the Wicked Witch was alive, they were under her spell and carrying out what she wanted done. And so in life, sometimes you may be in a situation where you are a flying monkey for a narcissist and you don't even know it. And that narcissist is using you to get what they want at your expense. I've been in situations where there was one narcissistic person that I helped to start a successful business, and this individual cheated on her husband and was using me and a few others when we were fooled to squash the rumors about her affair. And we were being used while she was lying, and we didn't even know that we were her flying monkeys. So that's a little tidbit about what a flying monkey is, and then I'm going to dig more into that and the roles of the people who are around the queen bee or the king narcissist. So there you go.
And you know what? And you know, I'm a piggyback off of what you said, and you can feel free to drop off when you get ready. I want to thank you for being here, but I want to add to what you said because a couple things came to mind. I want to share one personal example because I think it's always important. When I was talking to Shay last week, we were talking about the prophet and how the prophet has to internalize the word before it's given. So that's why I tell so much in my own business. Okay. So I want to share a personal example, but then I want to kind of share a social example too. One personal example I have is that I was a flying monkey for Umar Johnson for a long time. I thought that what he was saying was correct. And every single day I would be in his chats beating people up. I had no idea that he was lying. I had no idea. Because mind you, I was in a foreign country. We had a limited amount of resources and internet, you know, and all of those things. I didn't get to know who Umar Johnson was until months before I left to go to China. And I had just stopped being a Christian because my daddy had just died. And he released me in his death from Christianity after his death. So Umar Johnson swept right in. When I found out Christianity wasn't for me, I'm not going to say anything else. I'm just going to say it wasn't for me. I left a vacuum and Umar Johnson swept in. So all that fervor I had as a licensed preacher from New Birth and all the other, it went right to his stuff. Wow. And I never gave to him because I don't really give to men like that. It's just a thing about me. I'm a pussy, excuse me. But my daddy said I'm to receive. So, uh, but my I would be like his henchman. And I'm gonna tell you, when I realized I was his flying monkey, when I spent 4 hours making a video to come against somebody who was speaking against him. Now, mind you, she was doing the right thing and I didn't realize it, but the way she was doing it was way off. And she was using hate speech in her rhetoric, and that really pissed me off. And so I was behind the scenes in China one night in Rugao, using my Rugao internet, where I literally had to sit on the modem. And it took me 4 hours to create this 9-minute video to shut her channel down. And I did it. And the nigga never said thank you. Not even to my face. I sent him the video before I put it up. And the thing I'm going to tell you how I tricked him. I sent another person the video who watched it all together, because WhatsApp lets you see how long they play your video. And then I sent it to him. He watched it for 30 seconds and gave me some feedback. So I knew I was talking to the same person.
Wow.
My mama figured that out because he was talking to my mama too. And so I realized at that point, I didn't pull out right away, but I did realize at that point, because I'm the kind of person who appreciates respect. I appreciate being appreciated. I put my best into everything I do. And it meant a lot to me because I had brought him to China. He had spent time there doing what he was supposed to do and took home money. And to not even get a thank you after I had done that and took this person's channel down and put her in a place where nobody even knows who she is, because you don't know who I'm talking about. She went on an attack after me after that. But that was a situation where I didn't even know what flying monkeys were then. And that was one of those situations that helped me understand how narcissism works, and how even as a person who had been delivered from narcissism, I was still operating under that same spirit.
Right. Interesting. Let me mention one thing to you before I go.
Yeah.
There is something called the dark triad test that I learned from a very famous narcissist that goes by the name of Ty Lopez. I did his 67 steps. I used to be into him until I realized what he's about. But it's called the dark triad test, and you can't game it. If you ever want to get a business partner or do something that would really take a commitment with another individual, you make them take the dark triad test. You will find out if they are one of the 1.5% to 4% of people in the population that have narcissistic tendencies. And so that's that's my tip of the night.
Okay, I'm gonna let you go.
And that's all I've got.
Ain't got no more.
Ain't got no more.
My baby,
thanks for having me on.
Thank you, Carlton, for being here. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a fun night at work.
Okay, love you much. All right.
Bye. Let me give y'all the second example real quick, because there was another example that came to mind while whoever else is going to join the chat decides to pop up. If you want to show me your penis, just show me real quick and we'll get it over with, and then we'll let you come on this panel. Do you guys remember Stevie J's daughter's mother on Love and Hip Hop? Her name was Mimi Faust, or is Mimi Faust. If you know who Mimi Faust is from Love and Hip Hop, I just want to know who I'm talking to. If you could just put a red heart or a 100 in the chat. Excuse me. Okay. If you know who Mimi Faust is, and what the example is relevant anyway, I just want to know who I'm talking to. And I stopped watching reality shows, I want to say about 5 years ago. I tried to review a reality show for you guys and you didn't want to watch it, so I left it alone. Because we're not under that vibration. It's just not the way we move. But y'all remember Mimi Faust did that sex tape, right? If you remember, Mimi Faust did that awful sex tape that still pops up on my Pornhub recommendations. Why the fuck does that whack-ass porn I don't even call it porn. I call it a sex tape, because there's a difference. There's a difference between pornography and two people having sex on camera. It's not the same. One goes, the other goes. See the difference? So if y'all remember Mimi the May, you know, because you got your May outfit on. I can't stand Jocelyn. She goes, I'm a fair person. There are times I'm really proud of her and times when I'm like, Jocelyn, you got to get out the ghetto mindset. You too rich to be acting like that. But anyway, Mimi Faust made a sex tape with her boyfriend. I knew it was a sex tape because I know how to make television. I was responsible. The year I graduated from college, I finished my program in 2002. I finished my program in 2002. The R. Kelly sex tapes came out in 2001. Okay, same year as 9/11. And in my media, one of my media law classes, we had to study the R. Kelly sex tapes. So we had to identify the moments in those sex tapes where there was child pornography. And my partner enjoyed that tape way too much with his nasty ass. But we had to watch those tapes. We were responsible to watch them on school grounds. We had to go into the studios at Jackson State and watch them. We couldn't go in our own dorm rooms or watch them. Nobody had personal devices back then. It just wasn't something that was even invented. If you had a personal device, it told you what time it was, and that's about it. You are so funny to me, Marlena. Yes. Hey, babe. Because you got your little May outfit on. Stevie, you gonna let her clean your bathroom? Anyway, Marlena, leave me alone. So, I know what it looks like, and I watch porn. I was explaining to somebody before, I curated my own porn site. I know what good porn looks like. I know what amateur porn is. I know what porn that's supposed to look amateur is. And they call one amateur, the other one is homemade. If you watch porn and you're being honest, then you know what I'm talking about. Because I do. And then you have soft porn and then the hardcore and then the other stuff they call smut. There's different genres based on the quality of the production. Well, Mimi Faust had people thinking for the longest that this sex tape was something her and her man did on vacation and he leaked it. Y'all, when I watched that bitch, I was like, she thought that people were going to get thrown off by them cheap ass shower curtains. She had people, that was for you, Hiram. I thought she was coming up on the panel. If you are, come on. She had people fighting for her friends, two of her friends, Erica and who was it? Erica and it wasn't. Please tell me. Oh, Erica and come on, baby, Eris. What was your name again? Her best friend, the friend that would fight Stevie J because he disrespected her. She had her friends going hard. Mimi, she said she told everybody he leaked the tape. He leaked the tape. That boyfriend of hers that looked Aryan, the one that looked like a fake Stevie J. Not that a real Stevie J looked very real because he just lied for P. Diddy all over Tubi. We'll watch that when it's all over because I like to talk about stuff after, not during. This stuff is stressful when you talk about it during, and I know that. So I pick our projects versus our episodes very carefully. This is a project, what we're working on. Y'all been on these projects with me before. What we did with the Titan submarine, that was an episode. This Dolton stuff is a project, okay? But anyway, she had her friends fighting people. I looked at the tape and I was like, wait a minute. They got two different angles. One of the tapes, not the shower scene one, the other one she did that was in the bed. That was such a dry sex. It was horrible. Mimi, you are trash in bed. There's angles. Well, here's the question. If those of y'all who've ever filmed yourself with your loved one who is, somebody you trust, don't just be filming yourself with everybody out here. But those of you who've done that, are you really going to, in the middle of getting ready to bust the nut, get up and go change the camera to the other side of the room? No. And I also know what hotel lighting looks like, so I know the difference between a film set with lights, because hotels are purposely lit just like this. Just like what you see here, very low. You'll never, that's why when people are in well-lit hotels, usually we know they're cheap hotels, because good hotels are not very well lit. They're relaxing, luxurious places. You don't go there to get work done. You go there to fuck. So I knew it was a production. I knew it was a production. Now, what happened was, her friends were finally watching the video one day. They hadn't seen it for some damn reason. Erica and Arian with they two believing asses, but I did the same thing for Umar Johnson, so I understand it. And Erica, who's been on several movie set, or not movie, I'm sorry, I'm giving him way too much, several music video sets with Scrappy, said, wait a minute, something's not right about this. Erica is so smart. I'm still trying to understand how she was with Scrappy for so long, because she's extremely bright. She was like, something's not right about this. She was like, this is a production. She was like, no. And I can't remember exactly what she said. It's turned into a whole meme, but it was like, this bitch played us this whole time. And then when they went to ask me about it, she acted, oh, whatever. So you know it was fake. Okay, so she never really had a real heartfelt. She and this man went and shopped this video around and sold it. This is a mother who didn't want to take what I have to take when I come before you and say what needs to be said, or what I think needs to be said, whether it's right or wrong. She wanted to package it in a certain way. So her and this man agreed that they would say he had the camera, or they agreed that they would say the camera got stolen at the airport. Like anybody would steal that ugly nigga's camera. They concocted this story. She let him take the fall. He started getting death threats because everybody loved Mimi Faust. And then her friends found out she was lying. And those friendships have never been the same. So anyway, that was the other example I had of some flying monkeys.